About every week, a founder comes into my office and says, I'm going to build a big company based on a data network effect. When I dig in, I find out the understanding about how it actually works isn't quite there yet. Very little data actually creates a data network effect. And even when there is a data network effect established, it's usually not that strong. However, data can be used to create defensibility. So the question is how to do it. There are three broad ways of doing it. The first one is a data network effect, but you have to understand what that is and what it's not. We'll go through that. The second one is with data scaling. And the third one is with data embedding. And this one is stronger than this one, and this one is stronger than this one, and we'll go through each of these. A data network effect is when the value of your product increases, the more data goes into the system, and then benefits all the users of the product. And the way that works is you get your users coming in, you then are dropping data from their usage of the product. That data is then used to improve some sort of an algorithm, typically. And that algorithm produces more value. That more value attracts more users. That creates a cycle that once it accelerates, makes it hard for anyone to compete with you. That gives you the defensibility. So the best way to understand data network effects is to take a look at an example like Waze. Waze has 6 elements which help you understand the various ways that you need to construct a real data network effect. So the first thing that they've got is that the data capture is automatic. When a user is using Waze, the system automatically grabs the information that is needed to bring that data into the repository of data that's going to make the value for everyone. The second thing that they've got is that the product gets more valuable automatically, okay? Because that data is there, you get updated in real time about what's happening around you when you're driving. The third thing is that there's a minimum threshold to the amount of data that Waze needs in order to provide this service to you. If you don't have tens of thousands of users on your new app to try to compete with Waze, the value you're going to provide to your new users isn't going to be nearly as good as Waze is today, which gives them the defensibility. Okay, so there's a minimum threshold you need to get to in order to provide the service at all. The fourth thing is that it doesn't asymptote. This is much rarer than people imagine. Waze is a great example where it doesn't asymptote. And this is what I mean. Most data network effects asymptote out. The value to the users never grows about a certain amount, no matter how much data you bring, because no matter how much data comes, it just doesn't get any better. A good example would be something like in healthcare, you have a certain amount of cases to diagnose something. But if you get 10 times more cases, your accuracy isn't going to improve that much. It asymptotes out. Whereas with Waze, because the data is in real time, they are collecting and transmitting data from the users and back to the users in real time. The need for the data is changing every minute. And so at every minute, you need tens of thousands of users to get a complete map of the traffic situation and get the calculations right. And so you always have need. So it doesn't asymptote out. It continues up. The more people, the better with Waze as well. That creates a real data network effect that's defensible. Number 5, with Waze, the value created by the data is central to the overall product value. A good example of where this isn't the case would be Netflix. Netflix had this data network effect where they would watch they would view what we were all watching and decide to give us a personalized feed about what we should watch next. This is somewhat of a data network effect. You get better with your algorithm the more people you have on it. But that value wasn't central to the real value of Netflix. The real value of Netflix was just having the right movies on Netflix that you wanted to come and watch. And so that didn't end up being very defensible for Netflix. So they got into the production business so that they could have video that you want to watch. With Waze, the data value created by collecting and transmitting that data from drivers is central to the core value of that application, and therefore it makes for a strong network effect. The sixth thing is that the users perceive the value in the data coming to them. In many businesses, the customer can't perceive the value that you bring to them through the data because a competitor can claim to have the same value or something very close. And therefore, it's not very defensible unless the customer sees that data and sees the difference and conceives in their head oh yeah, that's a real differentiation from the other products I've seen out there. I understand that value. I believe in that. I'm willing to pay for it. And I'm willing to choose to use this product because I see it. This is not the case in many products which claim to have a data network effect. True data network effects are very rare. The next best thing to getting one of those is probably data scaling. So with data scaling, what you're looking for is a breadth of data that causes your users to choose you over some other product. A good example would be Yelp. They've got so many restaurants and so many services rated on Yelp that you know that you can go there and pretty much get a comprehensive view and find the thing you're looking for. The same thing is true of an Amazon. Their incredible scale of data around what products are available allows you to know that you should just go to Amazon because it's going to be there and it's probably going to be as cheap as any place else. And this is a very good defensibility. It's not as good as a data network effect. But note that a data scaling effect gets better linearly. The value of your product as you have more data scales linearly, whereas with a data network effect, it should scale geometrically, okay? And so this is a good defense, this is a better defense. So that's why this one's number 2. So the third best way to use data to get defensibility is what we call data embedding. And data embedding works in the following way. If you can install your software, like a Workday or an Oracle, into your customers' operations, and then you own their data on your systems, you've essentially got their data on your system, but you've embedded into their operations. It's very hard for them to rip you out. This is not a network effect, but it is a pretty good defensibility. The more data you can get them to commit to you, and the more you can then use that data to do good things for them, over the years, when they make a decision between you and a competitor, it's going to get harder and harder for them to rip you out. So the way we look at defensibilities is that network effects is the greatest defensibility you can get. But there's also embedding, and then of course there's scale, and there's brand. And with data, this is your first choice, and then this is your second choice, and this will be your third choice. These are all defensibilities, but again, the data network effects are the greatest, but much less frequent and much harder to find than most people believe. So founders, just because you're able to collect a lot of data does not mean you've got a data network effect. So read the essay, download the data network effect questionnaire, and sit down with your team and see if you have an opportunity to have a real data network effect, or if you've got a shot at maybe some data scaling or some data embedding. But either way, you've got to really understand what the real implications for your data in your business are, and not just the illusion and the hope that it's going to give you some defensibility.